Hello, my name is Bruce Bolger, and I'm founder of the Enterprise Engagement and publisher of Rewards Recognition, which is, I think, the world's only weekly covering the world of total rewards. And we run these webinars periodically, several times a month, to get industry experts to help us go over the most effective practices in their area of engagement. And the whole world of engagement is enormous. And when you narrow it down to total rewards, it's still enormous. So today we're going to focus specifically on gift cards, which are arguably today the number one reward used throughout the world to reward people. But we're going to talk about gift cards in the context of memorability, on impact, on motivation. So these, and how to separate them from compensation to make sure that people really appreciate the award that they get. And there's Mark Matthews, who's calling in. I'm not really sure what I can do about that right now. So anyway, I'm going to introduce our speakers. Cindy Willis, she's Senior Rewards Manager at Maritz, which is one of the very top incentive rewards and recognition companies in the United States. We have, in fact, in the world. Ann Jetter, she is a legend in the gift card field. She is a chair of the International Gift Card Council of the Incentive Marketing Association, but also in charge of strategic sales for SB Collective, which is an agency that helps brands get into the gift card business. We have also Tracey Klein. Tracey runs one of the world's biggest gifting platforms, both for consumers and businesses. And she makes it super easy to give gift cards to just about anyone. But you know what? Things that look easy aren't really so easy. So that's what we're going to get into with her. I just wanted to thank one of our sponsors, Charity Gift Card Certificates, Charity Choice. They're a very popular item in many incentive and recognition reward programs. You'd be surprised how popular charity is in programs. That'll be another show. And then finally, we're the Enterprise Engagement Alliance. We publish weekly news and information on all elements of engagement and total rewards. We have a great big free library that's free for all of you at enterpriseengagement.org. We're the only, I think, the world's only learning and certification program on enterprise engagement. We provide speaking and facilitation services on engagement and a complete set of impact tools. So now I'm going to stop this. And I want to start with you, Cindy, because you were really one of the people that, made me realize it was important to do this show. Could you, kind of start off and tell the audience about how Meritz views gift cards as a way to motivate people in a memorable, impactful way? And I'm going to go off camera a minute and try to get our other speaker on the phone.
Sure, no problem, Bruce. Thanks. So we think of gift cards as not just a payment method, but it is a reward to motivate our participants' behavior. And so if we can talk to brands and then highlight like what's unique about a particular brand of gift cards. Say you're going to dinner at Applebee's, that is also an experiential moment, and we can highlight that through lifestyle images next to the reward, on a catalog or an email or any kind of other promotion we have. Because it might be the only time you and your husband can have a moment together and you're going to go have dinner at Applebee's, or maybe you're going to another brand and you're celebrating, a team success at work. And so that also is an emotional experience. So we love having lifestyle images to highlight these kind of experiences. So again, we're trying to think of it not just as a payment, but as a reward experience.
I'm going to just chime in. Also, the IRF did an Outlook study, the 2026 Outlook study that spoke to the popularity of gift cards, and it was like one of the number one things chosen as in a rewards and incentives catalog. And dining, funny that you picked that out, Cindy. Dining is the number one category in that study that revealed the gift cards are an important thing. So just to echo what you're saying, I think the reward currency and to be used how you choose is really the best way to reward an employee and make them feel valued.
So Tracey, and excuse me, folks, we're trying to get our other speaker on this call who apparently did not get the link. So bear with me one second because I am myself lost a little mess here. But I wanted to ask you, Tracey, you put together how many different gift card brands do you folks have?
In the US and Canada, it's about 500, 600, and then globally, it's about 5,000.
And what is the basic capability then of a platform like yours?
Sure. People use eGifter rewards and similar platforms in the industry for any type of program where there's a reward and incentive going out. It could be consumer rewards, consumer loyalty, consumer rebates, any kind of program like that. Or on the corporate side, it can be employee rewards for things like spot rewards, service anniversaries, wellness, corporate wellness programs. For example, we work with healthcare organizations who will send incentives out to Medicare patients who get a flu shot, right, or complete some kind of other healthy milestone. Maybe it's a healthy baby program where they're getting maternal prenatal care. We work with public companies who may reward people. There was a big push about year and a half or so ago for return to office policies, right? For people who were actually coming back to the office post COVID when they were supposed to, and incentives and rewards for having them participate in those programs and that behavior. So it really runs the gamut. You see things like market research, right? Companies who are conducting field studies, market research, and they will incentivize people for filling out surveys or participating in focus groups. So, those are the type of people who are drawn to platforms like ours, to Maritz, who just need help executing on their vision for what rewards and incentives could be, and, need assistance with everything from the reward selection to the execution.
So, Cindy, why would a company bother to use gift cards for the types of applications that Tracy's talking about when they could technically send an ACH or cash? So,
Sure.
what is the thinking behind using a gift card?
Well, we're trying, there's a spectrum of rewards, right? From cash to say travel, and gift cards falls in between there. We know from behavioral data that people might say in survey data that they want cash, but what we see actually affects behavior is more of a reward, something that's memorable. And so we educate our clients on that. And sure, there's certain programs where it's appropriate to have ACH check or different prepaid cards, but creating this trophy value or memorable experiences is really important. And then we love to say, did you know all the secrets behind different brands that they didn't know that their participants can do? Like, go to Home Depot and you can furnish your whole home because they have an online retail shop as well. Um, so that's the difference between cash and a reward.
Bruce,
Oh,
you're
Bruce,
mute.
you're mute. Oh, Bruce, you're still mute. Sorry.
While he's unmuting, I would just piggyback on that to say, what I often tell clients is that if I were given cash, I would probably use it, to pay for the babysitter or, groceries. And that's not memorable. That just feels like, transactional. But if I get to pick a reward and I could pick Nordstrom, that's not something I do every day. So that is, it's aspirational. It gives people an opportunity to do something they might not do otherwise. And it is like Cindy said, much more memorable. Cash just becomes very transactional. People forget about it. They don't remember what they spent it on. And you do see that happen, more and more with some of the biggest box gift cards, actually.
Mhm.
Sometimes you get a gift card, you just add it to your account balance, and then you're spending it on, next time you need to order socks. So we try to steer people towards, even within the gift card space, a gift card that can be something that they remember. Like if I got that Lululemon jacket, I'm going to remember that every time I put it on.
Well,
Exactly.
that's so. In other words, what you're saying, Tracy and Cindy, that even in something like research, and this is really an important point, no matter what you're doing, to thank somebody, if you send them cash, it literally disappears into their wallet. Whereas even a gift card really can make a difference because they're going to remember, as I spend that money, I got that from the DRG research company. So the next time they research, I'm going to maybe respond. So, Anne, why do gift cards, uh, why are gift cards, why do so many brands get into gift cards? And we have Marc shortly after all these technical problems joining us, but he's not unmuted yet. I'm trying to work on that. So, could you speak for brands in the meantime?
Sure. It's a great way for a brand to, well, in the incentive space, the IGCC did a study with Javelin Research to pull together some data on B2C versus B2B, and we discovered that the industry is about a $61 billion industry. Of that, closed loop is about 32 billion, and open loop is about 29 billion in that space. So it behooves a brand to get involved in the B2B aspect of it, but as part of that, like we've identified in surveys, it leads a person to maybe try a new brand that they have been apprehensive or want to just try a new brand that they're not familiar with or a new product, depending on the dollar value. It also brings loyalty. It encourages people to stay with a company that they're very, very familiar with and want to keep supporting their favorite brands. Encourages brand loyalty. So there are a lot of reasons why a gift card would need the gift card product is a way to leverage strength and encourage additional sales. Number one thing is to encourage additional sales. There's upspend. People usually spend more than the gift card value, obviously, especially in the restaurant and the retail industry. And as been cited before, to spend on personal things for your home. So everybody's doing home improvement right now too. So it's a great way to keep that value proposition going for your brand.
It's interesting you say that because everybody's doing home remodeling or wants to, but actually the economy is hurting that segment. So I would think a gift card right now would actually be a wonderful thing for a lot of
Hmm.
people. Cindy, one of the things that you've been involved in at Maritz is innovation. Not just putting out gift cards. And for the benefit of people, please explain the difference between an open loop and a closed loop card because your company actually was an innovator in developing the closed loop and open loop. Could you explain the difference, please, for a moment?
Sure, not a problem. So an open loop card is a card that's usually on Visa, MasterCard, or American Express rails, and you can use it anywhere you want. A closed loop card is a gift card, and that is where you go to a merchant or a retailer or a business, and it's good only at that with that company. And then there is somewhat of a hybrid, if you will, where you can get an open looped card that has a Visa and MasterCard bug on it or American Express. You can get that with filters on it. So that could be a filtered prepaid card, and that is something that you can use by category or by merchant or location. And we have used those. Maritz did come up with the exclusively your card years ago, where it's good at about 140 retailers, and and there's specially curated retailers where there's, still trophy valued items there, and use your prepaid card there, but not go pay your utility bill with it.
So, and you still have those options, I
We
believe,
do.
correct?
We
One
do.
of the
And
things
yeah.
that's always intrigued me, Cindy, is the concept of wallet power that I often wonder whether the industry overlooks. As you know, Tracy, and we're going to get back to you in a minute, everything's digital today, right? And we all like that. Instant bang, right? But has the concept of giving somebody a reloadable card gone away totally, Cindy? Think of it.
Oh,
I
no.
have I work for a major company. I have my IBM card, and every
Yeah.
time I do something great, it gets reloaded, and the card might even have the IBM logo, and I'm just making that up. Does that still
Yeah.
exist?
Absolutely. Absolutely, Bruce. Still a great demand actually for our channel incentive companies. So our clients who want to have this as part of their reward mix, we are happy to have it for them. It is usually co-branded, so it'll have the client's logo and the brand of their program, and then yeah, the participant can go into their catalog and choose to transfer their points to the reloadable card or to use it for another item on the catalog, like travel, merchandise, gift cards. But
I'm
it
gonna.
definitely
I
still
think
has a place.
Mark, do we have you?
I don't know, do we?
You do. So thank you.
Yay,
You're
Mark.
looking better than ever, Mark. I'm teasing. We can't see you, but we're going to get to you in 1 second. Tracy, what about physical cards? Is that something you folks do, or is that all passé now?
Yeah, we do. It's funny. We started our company with the E for eGifter, thinking it was going to be a digital only play. And we very quickly learned that physical gift cards were still very important and a vital part of the industry, and that hasn't changed. Um, digital cards, we favor digital cards in our organization, and we encourage people to, adopt a digital first strategy. Digital cards have some security built in, which we can talk about later. They're a little bit easier to track and manage. There's some financial upside to using digital cards, and most digital cards can be added to your mobile wallet. So, like added right to your Apple Pay or your Google Pay, and that includes open loop as well, both open loop and closed loop. But there's definitely still a strong need for physical cards. People do events where they want to hand out cards. People are dealing. We have a nonprofit organization or two that deal with unhoused populations who need physical cards. If you're giving out rewards to kids that, small kids, they need a physical card. They don't have a phone. They can put it on their mobile wallet. We have a great organization that does like little prize outs to kids. So, there's definitely still a place for physical cards. Some of those healthcare companies I mentioned, Medicaid populations, they physically mail cards to patients because their data just might not be ready. They don't have, email addresses for everyone in their healthcare system. So physical cards are still a huge part of the industry. We do millions and millions in them. Maritz does billions and billions. Like it's
Right.
definitely still an important part of the industry. People just don't want to give up that little piece of plastic that they've got.
Well, again, I feel kind of vindicated about that, Cindy, because back when you guys founded AES, I said don't forget the physical card because that's part of the memorability. Mark, I hope you're still there. You still there? My heavens, have we lost Mark again? Because I wanted to get to this whole concept of memorability, and he's there, and I'm going to try to allow him to talk. Are you back, Mark?
Is this any better?
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go. Hey, listen, I apologize to everybody. Never been a technical genius, obviously, and this is showing its ugly face today. So I apologize.
Mark, I think it might have been my fault. I might have left you off the invitation. So let's not get into blaming anybody. Might
I'm
be my
easily
fault.
forgotten, Bruce. I'm easily forgotten.
All good.
All right, Mark. Well, the reason I invited you for this session is that, and we're going to get back to merits on that as well, actually, and on with Ann, is the experience of a gift card to make it memorable. And the thing that I, like about what you guys do is this twofold element in talking about this customization of the card. You actually don't just send out a card. If I understand, when somebody gets one of your experiential travel programs or one of your, as I understand, you have a direct feed to all these events and tickets and whatnot. What do you do before we get into all the experiences that you can offer? What do you do to make the reward experience more impressive, more memorable?
Well, the mere fact that, to Sydney's point earlier, our cards are closed loop. they can only be used for experiences or something memorable. People have to go and do something. They can't use our cards to buy gas or pay rent or diapers, all of which are great things, but they actually have to do something that's memorable. And they have a huge catalog. We have over 2,500 different experiences they could choose from. They have hundreds of thousands of different events that they can attend. There's just an incredible number of options for them to get out and do something. They can stack the cards. In other words, they can add multiple gift cards together and you use combined points. They can buy up on it. So the real feature associated with these cards is choice. And choice is something that's kind of underestimated or undervalued in our industry from time to time. The flexibility and choice associated with cards, that's really what we're trying to magnify here.
But tell me a little bit, or not, but, and tell me though a little bit about what I get if I'm, if I've won one of your rewards. You don't just send me a letter in the mail. How do you deliver that experience so that I really feel that it's important?
Well, in terms of the gift card, we would be sending out both a digital card, and for those of the people who just like to stick it in their wallet, or a physical card. But they're also assigned a personal concierge that if they have any questions regarding an event or they want to say, hey, what can I do for the Monaco Grand Prix or for this concert or this event or what have you? They have a personal concierge associated with that that'll be answering those questions for them and actually handling their entire booking process. So it's a very hands-on, one-on-one relationship that just enhances the whole trophy value of the award. It's not they're just out there going online and spending something and having something delivered through Amazon or whatever. This is a more involved process that really gets down to the specifics of what the individual truly wants, and a whole booking procedure to make that happen for them.
So, Cindy, in your always search for innovation, you stumbled upon something that we're actually doing an article about tomorrow that I really do shows the capability of this filtering. And Ann, I'm going to bring that to you and to Tracey. This idea of really being able to, yes, choice is important, but if you send somebody so much choice, you overwhelm them. And
Mm-hmm.
secondly, it doesn't show any sensitivity to who they are either. The most, if I'm a big hiker and I love to hike and somebody sends me something that's really related to what I love, that shows that they know me. And so, Cindy, tell us like this new concept it's an independent company, the gift card market, but I think you've really done a good job of bringing them to the corporate market. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I was really excited when our gift card partner showed me a product that allows us to offer local gift cards. And the card we have right now, it combines restaurants and then salons and spas, but they have already expanded these categories. So the experience is like for our participants is they're looking through our catalog and they see all these lovely brands, national brands that we all know and carry, but now they can go in and check out a local gift card and the iframe, the intelligence is so smart, the experience is so great that Gift Card Marketplace has created this experience where you open up to look to see if you're interested in this gift card and it knows your location already. And then it proposes all of these cards. It's powered through Yelp and it proposes all of these restaurants. If you put in restaurants and that you can go and redeem your gift card for, or if you wanted to go and get a massage, you can put that in the top. And there's so many places you probably didn't know were in your community or where you're going to go on vacation or to give to a friend or relative or coworker. it's just hyper local. And what it is, it's truly a prepaid card that you can then load into your wallet, go, and it runs on the MasterCard rails as well. And I think it's a really great new reward in our marketplace. I'm excited. Maritz was the first to get it, but I want to see this expanded through our industry because I think it's a wonderful reward to offer
Mhm.
to participants.
Well, Mark, you had something on your LinkedIn page today about this session, and you made the point about how you like this industry because everybody's willing to share things with their competitors. So,
Mhm.
Cindy, there you go. So, Anne, getting back to you, you kind
Well,
of
I just want to just interrupt you for a second,
please.
Bruce. And Cindy, I love that idea. I think it started in Europe with the shop local during the COVID, with communities trying to support local businesses. And if that's come over here to the US, I mean, I am all for it. I think that's just absolutely fabulous. And if you don't mind, I'm going to give you a call after the meeting here to discuss it. I think that's a fabulous product.
Absolutely,
Well,
Mark.
it's funny, and we're not here to advertise this, but when I checked it out, Cindy, before the article, the interview for the article, it literally served up my favorite local restaurants, the things that I would give to somebody. So it really is amazing on that. So, Ann, kind of tell us what you see as some of the bigger trends right now in the gift card business. The gift card business has had explosive growth. It's taken over about 70% of redemptions. And I think it did so because the merchandise people couldn't deliver real-time exciting products when people wanted to redeem them. So,
Hmm.
a gift card, bang, if I give you an Amazon gift card or a Home Depot gift card, you're going to get what you want now. What do you think explains the explosive growth of gift cards, and where do you think it's going?
I think that COVID had a huge, tremendous impact on especially the gift card industry. It made everybody rush to delivering something digital because everybody was on their own. They were at home. They were looking for experiences and what can I do to still stay active. I think it also advanced the technology feature for people to still explore the world digitally. So there are all kinds of opportunities that are experiences that you can look at tour the Vatican on your laptop while sitting at home because we couldn't do anything. And I think this industry is known for our creativity and collaboration. There's a lot of intel, a lot of experience in our gift card community, and it didn't stop anybody. I think it just advanced the awareness of still staying active and still getting out there, even though you were limited to being at home. I also think that we've seen a lot of great innovation in different products and way that you can. One of my personal clients, you can pay down your student loan debt for a gift of college gift card. There are other ways that you can give away to charity. You can use unused gift cards and uh, deter the balance of that towards denoting it towards a local charity. There's just a lot of applications and a lot of different use cases that a gift card can offer.
So, Tracy, one of the issues related to gift cards is breakage, right? People don't always use them. And that's true of consumers, right? No, but I mean this in a productive way. What should companies do to remind? Because it's a wonderful thing. You've given somebody an asset, and then they sometimes forget. What do you recommend companies, or maybe Cindy, can address that?
Sure.
Because I've heard corporate clients say, that's their one concern.
Yeah.
Their
Yeah.
breakage is.
Yeah, there's definitely that issue. And everybody, each program handles it differently. We see pretty high engagement rates in our programs, right? So the goal is to develop a program that will have the highest engagement rate. So, for example, employee reward programs usually have a very low breakage profile because the employees know about the program, they're engaged. However, a market research survey where you're like, take $5 to take my survey, you might not have a lot of people convert. And typically, a savvy reward and incentive buyer will know that they may want to explore the financial benefits of, can I get some of those funds back if people don't, convert and use my rewards? So we try to make economic models that work for all kinds of programs, depending on what the breakage profile is that we would expect to see. And that's pretty standard in the industry. Um, but it really gets down to choosing the right reward for the program so that you avoid the issues of breakage, right? Um, and meaningful rewards and dollar amounts, right? People are usually not going to be bothered, most people by a $5 reward, right? It's not even worth their time to go through the process of redeeming it or claiming it or remembering that it's on their phone or remembering that it's a physical card in their wallet. Like people have, with inflation, people just have a higher standard these days. So it has to be a meaningful dollar amount. It has to be a meaningful reward. And that's where choice comes in. So giving people, like Cindy talked about, that local card, which is a great new entrant to the market, or a choice card that an organization curates for their employees, something that we do a lot of. Those are meaningful and will have higher engagement, less breakage, because people are getting a card they actually want, as opposed to you assuming they want a Dunkin' Donuts card. They may be a Starbucks drinker. So don't make an assumption that everyone runs on Dunkin'. Instead give them a coffee choice card where you have lots of coffee joints on it and they can pick their favorite one, or the local card where they go to their local barista, who they may favor over a chain. So that's just, making a smart program, so that breakage is less of an issue. There will always be programs where it exists. And then it's just about making smart economic decisions on how to fund a program like that.
Cindy, one of the reasons, I wanted to have you on this program is that Maritz is one of the, major companies that focuses on science. I know for a fact, knowing you guys for years, you really do try to use analytics to help your clients make good decisions. What do you do to help companies address that, and again, this is a show that is focusing on effective practices, and so we're bringing up some issues that might
Yeah.
be a little controversial. How do you handle that issue to make sure companies get the true value? Is it selecting the right word? Is there anything to add to what Tracey said?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, some clients had a direct payment, like in their own platform, where it was going to just a check or a prepaid card. And, they'll have the rules engine through Merits. And then as we build the rapport with the client, we can educate them. Actually, you might want to switch to our catalog where we can have a variety of rewards for them to choose from. Again, choice, but everything from concierge travel rewards to highly curated merchandise that's updated weekly to innovative brands on gift cards. And then also, if our clients will allow us to communicate with their participants, not just on the program itself, but to highlight some of these incentives or incentive rewards to entice them then to when they go to, what they would have traditionally switched to a reloadable card or request a check. Instead, they're like, you know what? Actually, I did want the latest gaming system or some more tech to support my business, or I would love to take my vacation, family on a vacation or treat my staff to this amazing gift card. So it's through communication with the client of the benefits of having a total reward catalog.
Well, it's one of the things, and it is really, and really shows the flexibility of the industry. Many gift cards are sold through resellers, and
Mhm.
those resellers have a right to make money. They're providing a service. They're dealing with Tracy, working with her company to make
Right.
the program works.
They should get
So,
a prize just for that.
well, no, the prize is working with you. So, no, but my point is here is that and Anne, I'm going to bring this to you and then to Mark, is that, and to you, Cindy, is that merchandise does offer better margins for the reseller. So it's generally, not always, but generally speaking, they do. But the reseller has to serve the customer. It's what the customer wants. So frankly, customers, you better expect that if you want to give away cash and you're expecting an incentive company to administer that, you've got to pay them to do that. And you
Mhm.
actually, that card might be marked up if you're giving away cash and somebody needs to manage it. So, Anne, isn't it kind of ironic that if resellers do want to get better margins, it's with select brands. If you, and I'm not going to name any brands, but if you actually go to a retail brand versus giving away cash, Amazon is basically a cash equivalent. Verizon, I mean, not Verizon, a Visa card is a cash equivalent. Um, don't you think there's a bigger role? And I'm going to get to you too, Tracy, because we all know that people aren't dumb. And if they see an Amazon card, that's cash to them. They're going to take it. But Anne, aren't there a lot of brands that can offer the resellers, really exciting gift cards with better margins?
Yeah, I think I mean, it runs the gamut across, all of the retail landscape as far as, margins are different. Big box versus a high level department or a luxury brand. I do feel that there is also kind of circling back to the choice concept of if, for example, now the Meta glasses are a big thing that have some intelligence behind that, and a Ray-Ban gift card or a Ray-Ban is a producer of that. If you, it's really something that's a high, desire for a product that you really want. Um, the 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 client is going to seek out what those customers are seeking out. So you want to make it a balanced portfolio as well, because not everyone picks the Amazon card 100%. There are things that are personal that, Cindy mentioned before that are meaningful to them. And I think that's the whole point, is to give them a meaningful reward choice and a meaningful reward portfolio. So, if it's a if it's a product that it's on a bucket list item, or like things that Marc can offer, it's more about what's going to be the engagement model with you one-on-one. What's going to incent me to do a better job and appreciate my employer for offering a solution for that.
So Tracy doesn't, and Cindy to you, and I'm going to get to you on Mark because you have a sort of a unique situation. But Tracy, I think you would say that if you put in a catalog and you don't merchandise it at all, and you just you just, license your technology, white label it, and let them run, most people are going to take a cash equivalent, aren't they? If you don't merchandise it, won't most people take an Amazon or a Visa card?
Yes, Amazon and Walmart do have a pretty strong hold on most choice programs. Um, you made the point that Amazon is like cash, so much so you're validated in that the CMS, which is the organization that regulates Medicaid, Medicare, they actually no longer allow those organizations to give out Amazon cards as part of health-related reward and incentive programs. You need to use a card like a Walmart ATF card, which is a Walmart card that restricts alcohol, tobacco, and firearm purchases. So they will, put a stranglehold, those big box stores will put a stranglehold on most programs. We don't put them in every program. Please don't tell Amazon or Walmart that, right? Just because the economics aren't as good as a specialty card, or potentially as an open loop card. So it's a tricky mix, because then, when you don't put it in, you get a lot of people who say, I just want Amazon. So it's a dance that we do to give people the right mix, choices that they will be happy about. But sometimes, the goal is really to surprise them with choices they weren't expecting, and to push them towards something that will be more memorable to them. Because like you said, Amazon's going to just go in your Amazon account and you're going to buy socks with it. So it's not that memorable experience. But
Yeah, my
if
kids
you're
eat diapers with it.
if you're hitting a huge consumer market and you just need something that's really recognizable and will get conversion, then it might make sense to include an Amazon. So again, tricky subject that we all have to be very careful about, and it really comes down to the client and what their needs are
Mhm.
Well,
for their
Cindy,
audience and their program. I
well,
hope I did
Cindy,
that justice, Cindy.
and Cindy, again, getting back to this issue of science, One of the very big problems we have, I think, in this industry is that there's no training in it outside of the narrow people that are in it. The typical end user doesn't have a clue. The only experience they have with psychological modeling is the things they try to play with their kids to get them to do their homework or something. And yet they somehow think they're experts. And it drives me nuts. To dealing with these corporate people who don't have a clue. They've never read any Herzberg research. They don't never even heard of Deci, who's one of the great men in our field, who not in the field of motivation, who died this week. So to me, Cindy, the way to deal with this whole issue is to is to filter and to come up with a selection of cards that people are going to feel resonate with them. Amazon, we use it every day. It is essentially cash. Walmart, you're giving them cash. There is no science supporting mixing up cash with recognition and thank you. Everything supports. So how do you guide your clients to understand the difference? Because they're just going to, all my employees want this. Well, that doesn't mean it. All of your employees don't want to work. Just don't let them work. I mean, I don't never heard of anybody basing anything on what employees say they want, except when it comes to gift cards. Otherwise, they don't care. So how do you deal with educating your clients that purposeful choice, selective and meaningful choice, filtering your platforms, as I believe eGifter can do, and companies like hers can do? How do you convince them to think purposefully if you're going to spend the money doing this?
Well, I think that's one reason that people want to work with Maritz is because we are experts in our field of motivating behavior. And it isn't just, I grew up as a researcher for 15 years in my first, part of my career, and I love survey data, but that's not the same. That's opinion. People don't know what is going to motivate their behavior, but we do have the science behind it to know. And so we highly curate. I'm not looking for every brand of gift card that's out there. Has the approach of we want it to be very experiential, very memorable. So I'm not looking for, we can tell our clients this. We could just say, we know what motivates your participants across the board, whether it's loyalty or channel incentives or direct sales incentives. So instead, what we'll do is we'll say, a new client just asked me, why did you break out a certain brand? And I'd said, well, on like the Landry's card, you have 22 brands. Really, there's probably 60 brands behind that card. I want the experiential brands. If I could get a faceplate that has like the chart house on it or a different one for like Ruth's Chris, I don't want to blend it with everyday brands because that's a trophy value. And so Maritz has requested from these brands, actually, we want to make your brand look even more special. Help me by giving me a faceplate that is experiential or a higher end experience. So by showing our clients why we do what we do, and then we have, a whole team of analysts that could come in and say, you can see, here's how you can, insight the behavior you're looking for.
And also when you get to this whole idea, any agency like yours, like ad agencies, get an immediate commission on the media. It's 15%. I think it's higher. Well, it's lesser in some cases today. But the bottom line is there's always a commission because they're adding value. Now, there can also be, of course, fees on top of that. And with some gift cards, frankly, you're entitled to fees in my view. You're doing the work, so the client has to pay. But Mark, in certain areas, there are good margins, aren't there? Like if for companies like yours that package up experiences, multiple properties, can be better margins. So gift cards are not without margins, are they, Mark?
Not at all. Not at all. All of our experiences have a hefty uh, discount associated with them, be they just our pure experiences or the gift cards. We don't differentiate between the two. We have a standard discount that we apply to all the services that we provide, and it's just easier for everybody that way. Keep it simple.
So, Anne, is it true to say that generally speaking, if you're more selective about your selection, like, oh, you really see that you have a sporty community, the people that in your audience are big outdoors people. So you select retail brands that really reflect that outdoor thing. You're doing two things.
Mhm.
You're telling the story that you know who these people are, but you're also avoiding it as being a cash equivalent. How many, is it a good rule of thumb that generally speaking, the more specialized you are, not always in terms of selecting the right gift for somebody, there are better discounts for the resellers. Is that generally a rule of thumb?
Yeah, I would say so. Going back to what I was going to add to Cindy's comment is I think it's all about communication and connecting with who your clients, who your employees are, and serving up the right mix. So you just hit on it. If your audience or your employees are outdoorsy people, you know, Sephora may not be the right solution for them. It's all about designing a great incentive and reward program so that you do get behavioral changes and it makes everything more successful. You know, it contributes to that. There are definitely experiences that have a better discount and a better margin. And to Mark's point, some of those things are bucket list items. And those are going to be memorable and thank you to my employer for giving me that. But I do think you have to have a balance, and it's all about communication to just kind of make sure that you have the right balance.
So we have a couple of technical issues, which now is going to bring us to Tracey. So Tracey, filtering. I'm a very big believer in merchandising, and I think our industry, is really lost that because this full focus of choice. Well, just throw anything up there, and of course, Maritz is an example of a company that does not do that. First off, how much filtering can I do with your platform? If I white label it for a program and I only want to use a select group of type of experiences like Marc's or others, or can I filter and can I merchandise using your platform? In other
Yes,
words,
absolutely. So I mentioned that we have, 5,000-ish card brands available globally. We have programs that filter by region or by activity. We have programs that are wellness oriented, so there's no fast food, for example, in those programs. If it's a grocery card, it's going to be an ATF card, alcohol, tobacco, firearm restricted, so they can't go into the grocery store and buy alcohol or cigarettes, tobacco products. So we do a lot of filtering. And we don't recommend that people put 5,000 cards in their reward program just because they can, right? So I was just on the phone with someone the other day and we were talking about maybe they were going to have 10 to 15 cards in their program from people to choose for, each of which would be meaningful and relevant. It's very important to filter. That local card that Cindy talked about, which I'm familiar with, gives you even more opportunity to filter, to be hyper local. We talk to a lot of companies, corporate organizations who around the holidays, they want to give out a turkey, right? In the good old days, they would literally hand out turkeys. When I was growing up, I had a cousin who every year would get a turkey from his company and he would bring it to my mom so she could cook it for everyone for Thanksgiving. That has really gone away in the modern day. Honey baked ham has certificates that they can give that you can redeem for turkeys. I think Butterball still has like a check certificate program that you can distribute out and people could go get their turkeys. But giving people a choice of local supermarkets is also a great way to accomplish that same goal. I want to give you a turkey. Maybe you're a vegetarian and you're going to buy a tofurkey with it, but it's still the same idea. You're going to go to the supermarket. You're not going to buy booze or tobacco. You're going to buy food for Thanksgiving. And that, also speaks to, what you mentioned before about the economy and economics. People want help making, especially like last holiday season, we saw a lot of companies wanted to give a grocery related product reward because they wanted to help people make that holiday meal and make it special like it always has been. So, filtering is incredibly important. Merchandising the right products is incredibly important. And as technology evolves, we're able to do more and more of that. So, for example, in terms of a filtered open loop, we work with some mall shopping centers in Canada and the US where the shopping centers are all under central ownership. Like imagine a Simon Malls. That's not one of the ones we work with, but you can only use those cards at Simon Malls, right? So any store in that mall, but it has to be in the mall, in one of their malls. So that's like a highly specialized type of card. We see similar things being developed for stadiums where you could use it inside of a stadium. A lot of stadiums are going cashless. So they're creating a filtered open loop card that you can go to a kiosk, put in cash, get the card, and then use it throughout all the vendors in the stadium, but not elsewhere. So a lot of technology goes into making those things a reality.
Well, at Yankee Stadium, the minimum is going to be a $500 card anyway.
Well, yeah, yeah, you gotta pay to play at those places. That's for
Well,
sure.
wrapping up here, we're running because this is such great stuff. And folks, this will all be summarized also in a feature article, and it'll be put on our library and under market reports. So it'll be coming up in Chat GPT probably next week. Cindy, we have to give you really quick answers now because we're out of time. But Cindy, is this issue of merchandising critical to you? Is it real? Yes or no? Is it
Yes,
really important to merchandise these programs?
yes, absolutely. It's a must.
And Tracey, one last thing on technology, on fraud, and those types of things. Obviously, isn't it really important to work with a vendor who really understands all the crazy ways that fraud can occur? And Mark, if you want
Yeah, I
to,
mean, we would need another hour on that, but working with Maritz, working with eGifter, working with SB Collective, you need experts in the field who can help you make sure you have the proper safeguards in place, and steer you towards making some really good proactive decisions. I could, I can't even give an example in the time we have left, but I would just encourage people to not try to go it alone because the fraud is everywhere. It's on digital cards, it's on physical cards, it's on experiences. You can't escape it, unfortunately, but you can try to stay ahead of it.
so that I only wanted to mention that because we could do a whole session on it. Mark, were you going to say something there? Uh,
No, I just totally agree. In our platform, we have all, countless levels of safeguards put in to counter any kind of fraud. We track everything, so we have a very tight little ecosystem over here for our experiences.
So, Anne, as head of the International Gift Card Council, I'm going to give you the last word. Any any thought or advice or anything we might have missed about the effective use of enhancing gift cards? We have covered a lot. We've covered how to distinguish them from compensation, talked about the importance of filtering, understanding, merchandising, which I think is one of the most overlooked elements of our business, the ability to filter very precisely to develop your own cards, literally
Mm-hmm.
can only be redeemed in one place, that there's an industry of people with tremendous expertise to help you avoid the fraud problems. So we covered a lot of the ability to, yes, get good margins if you're a reseller by merchandising, by creatively finding cards that are going to motivate people from select brands that will appeal to people, and so that you avoid the cash equivalent, which to me is the really big danger, except in research programs, Tracy. I'm not sure it matters as much in research, perhaps, because in the past they gave you money, and half the times people didn't even, they've lost it. You give you $1, what are you going to do with it? But Tracy, Anne, any last comments?
I would just say you've summed it up nicely here. I think that um, there is a very large network out there that people need to utilize for understanding how to make a reward and incentive program and get and more effective integration and um, employer rewards and incentive engagement to increase all of that. We've outlined all of the areas and given you a lot of tools out there for people to use in their businesses. Lifestyle integration, integrating it when people bring on a new employee at an orientation, making a big difference as an employer. It's kind of on you to communicate with your employee base, stay in touch with them, whether it's through a digital or physical reward type of thing, offering them a great choice is, I think, the currency of choice is very important, as everyone has kind of brought to light today. So Thanks for the
Well, there's
opportunity. Yeah.
well, there's one
Thank
last
you, Bruce.
lesson that I'm going to give to everybody. Besides the fact that nobody has any training in effective program design and understanding open-ended programs, closed-ended programs, statistical process controls, Herzberg theory, since nobody's trained in that, they should be using companies that are. But the joke is they've never even heard of our industry. So, folks, the other lesson is if you're going to buy any of these types of programs for corporate use, there are only about 30 to 40 companies out there that can really help you do it right. So there's Rewards Recognition Network and the Incentive Marketing Association and other sources that will help you find people who at least know something about designing programs and effectively merchandising them. And we have them here on this show today. Thank you so much, Ann Jetter of SB Collective and the IGCC. Cindy Willis, and the incredible work you guys are doing at Maritz to advance the science in our industry. Tracey, the technology that you guys are bringing to enable people to filter and create really, really customized redemption platforms with impact. And Marc, your contributions to creating bucket list experiences and building a business out of a dorm room starting in 1979 to be the largest individual incentive travel company, I believe, probably in the world. So thanks to all five of you or four of you. And this show will be available very shortly and in our media.
Thanks, Bruce.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Bruce.
Bruce.
Take care.
Thank you.